Aren't those beautiful pistols? Yep. Two of John Browning's most ingenious handgun designs, the 1911 and the Browning High Power. The two guns were designed by John Browning. The High Power, of course, he was not around to finish it, but the basic design was his. And of course, he was around for the complete design and adoption of the 1911. So let's just take a look at some of the differences. Some of you may not have handled either one of these, or one or the other. The 1911 is not the staggered, the double stacked magazine, as you have seen perhaps with the Browning High Power. It's more like some of the modern, 9mm firearms and even larger caliber. You have a staggered magazine, so it holds 13. So that was a big change in that. Externally, you don't have the grip safety on the High Power. You have it on the 1911, and I'm not sure John Browning actually came up with that sitting in his shop thinking it needed that. As I recall, the military required that. They wanted that, and then he didn't include that on the later design here in the 20s when he came up with the High Power basic design. What else? You have a different type of trigger look, and we'll take it apart here in a second, but you have it looks like a double action, a modern double to single action trigger, doesn't it? But it is a single action. They both are single action triggers. You don't have the solid trigger. Of course, that's a 9, this is a 45, but that's not necessarily what we're looking at right now. Beaver tail. You don't have a lot of beaver tail with either one of the initial designs. You can get a little hammer bite with the Browning. You can get a little bit with this 1911, because this is the original configuration here. This is my replica, 1918 replica it's called, but it's basically the original 1911. Flat mainspring, long trigger, and all the various things that go along with it, and a short beaver tail. So you can get a little hammer bite with that one too, depending on your hand and how you shoot it. So sights are not wonderful in each one, but they're serviceable. They'll work. Let's take them apart and see how they're different inside. So we'll break down this old 1911. We have barrel bushing. We have a recoil spring plug here. Take that off and pull out the pin here. Okay, the slide lock pin. Got a guide rod in there and the recoil spring, barrel bushing, and the barrel with a link on the barrel. We'll see that's one of the differences here in a second. Okay, so let's take this. The Browning is a little bit easier, I think, to take apart. Back, slide all the way back. Push up on that. Push. Oops, and get locked. There we go. Push up. I'm not pushing on the other side. See the pin there? Push it out. Pull it out. Release it. There you go. A little bit easier. Okay. Now see the barrel configuration and the way the pin holds the barrel link. You don't have the link as part of the barrel. It's actually part of the guide rod here in that piece. When I pull it out, see how it slips right through that little, whoops, little hole there. Okay, so a little different. You don't have the, you got the recoil spring, of course. You don't have the plug on the end of it. It just pushes up right against the kind of the underlug on the slide, and it seems to work just fine for many decades, right? So you don't have the link on the barrel. Looks more like a modern barrel, SIG, Glock, or something. See, so there's your difference there. Okay, and I'm not likely to mix up parts here. They're pretty distinctively different, and I have a little bit of experience with them. I'm not the expert of all experts there, but you can see the difference there. Okay, and then they both have the lugs on top of the barrel. They lock into the slide with that, and then they both have to be pulled down as the slide is retracted, and pulled down slightly and then back, and how all that works. And I won't go into that in too much depth. I might say something I don't really know. How's that? So that's one of the biggest differences. That barrel link. You don't have the plug on the end of your spring. It's just sort of captured there, and then the barrel link, in operation. You do have an external extractor, which they went to in the 60s on the High Power. You still have the internal extractor on most 1911s. It sits just inside there and comes in from behind. Okay, and other obvious things. There are a lot of other obvious differences. Both of them, good old wood and steel. and they work. You know, it's a reliable design, something that you just can't argue with in terms of the operation. You know, they function, and they function well. Let's put them back together and see if we can get them to work. Let's shoot the 1911 a couple of times, just for kicks. All right. Ah, nice. I think that paper target needs to be shot. It's been there for about I guess in some ways this is a little bit of a tribute to John Browning. Just showing off a couple of his ingenious designs. And trying to shoot, a little hang up there. Nah, that's my old brass and my some of my hand loads and old brass. We'll try that one again. One thing about Tennessee is you get lots of humidity, all you want. I'm going to try those leaders while I can see them. All right. There we go. Oh well. Can't see well enough to shoot over there on the far hill, I don't think. We're not going to shoot a whole lot anyway. I just wanted to shoot the mags I have loaded, play with them a little bit here. Let's try it close up here. All right, that's a sweet one. That's a sweet one.